Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your ITFC match preview. I'm, of course, your host, the Gov. Looking forward to navigating the next 60-odd minutes of match previewiness. As always, if you're watching live, please do get active in our live chat. If you're watching on catch-up, FTA, comment for that algorithm, like, subscribe, and all that wonderful business. Sharon Guest with some breaking news as we hit the airwaves. Breaking news, the squadron's coaching staff currently in Prezzo. Ipswich having a meal and team bonding ready for Saturday. Sharon, what are the orders? Let us know. What are they ordering? Charlie says need a bounce back. It's Wednesday, which won't be easy. What happens on Saturday should never be allowed to happen again, says Charlie. AD Croucher, good evening, everyone. 3 points needed every game now. Absolutely. 9 to go. We've got Rob from BBC Sheffield joining us a little bit later on to give us the Wednesday lowdown as we gear up to the weekend. Another weekend's round of action. Don't forget, we are partnered with Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. If you're a sports enthusiast who loves your football and cricket show just on. If you've missed it, jump back. Hell of a show. It's always when the boys are sped up. Look no further than Match Bingo. It's the ultimate interactive game. I can see Rich laughing because he knows it's true. How your players on your screen right now. By playing, you are also contributing to the crucial work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance. Every game helps to save lives and provides vital medical care to those in need. How you play it, register online, download the app. We've all got smartphones, tablets, etc. I'm sure these days. So you know how to download an app, but how you do it is on your screen right now. £2 a bingo card, free bingos, all of that wonderful business. Over 18s only. Be gamble aware. Morning, Max. Hope you're well. Mike the Fisherman, if we can't beat Wednesday, we don't deserve promotion. That is a big sentence as we kick off tonight's show. Yeah, what do you think on that one? Let us know. Joining this evening is somebody who says we've got to be off by 9 because there's something on the telly. Matthew Phillips.
All
What's on
right.
the telly, by the way?
I don't know. Just, I want to chill out.
Touch of frost.
Yeah.
And the man who was on 2.5 speed, Mr. Richard Moss. Hello, sir. How are you?
All right, Matt. Get him off air. Get him off.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
I was giving them an overrun. I was saying you can overrun if you like. It's not a problem.
I didn't get that. I only got Matt's message. Get him off air. I've been busy because I've done the Wednesday Till I Die preview show. Had about a 5-minute break, then into the cricket show. If you haven't watched it, everyone, nip back and watch it. I want to get more views than Phillips's boxing show. That's nearly 150, Matt. You've done well. Well done.
All right. You've had to book a new hotel in the Caribbean because of the other ones getting knocked down.
Well, yeah.
It's been a busy week for you, boy.
Gulf was hoping I was going to be staying in a tent for 2 weeks.
Like in between us.
He said it'd be some, well, it would have been actually getting off that bus in the film if anyone's seen it, and they all kill it. I fucking hate Burnley.
Great vlog content, I thought. You could do a little vlog.
Yeah, brilliant.
Start your own vlog channel.
So, heading to Jamaica. Headed to Jamaica. Montego Bay on Monday.
Lovely.
Jamaica away. Come on.
Beautiful. Sounds absolutely wonderful.
Before
that, we've obviously got Wednesday. And before Wednesday, we've got a Czech presentation in the fan zone. Don't forget, of Colin Plum. Saturday between 12:45 and 1:15 for the Heart Foundation and Cancer Research. Everyone's obviously welcome to attend that. So please do attend if you can. Support Colin. And what was a great night for the book, wasn't it? And
really good.
Really good sum of money raised for two charities.
Over a year ago, wasn't it? Well, it's about this time last year. It's just before we played Derby, Matt. I think that was because Kevin Wilson was there. I remember.
The ledge. Shane didn't still have his moustache. That annoyed me a little bit, but never mind. Memories.
I'd like to see Matt. I'd like to see Matt with moustache.
I thought you were going to say I'd like to see Matt not annoyed because it seems to be
he's easily annoyed, isn't he? He's easily annoyed.
Thing. Because what else annoyed Matthew Phillips, which might be breaking news to those at home, is the renderings that was released. Let's start there, because the renderings that was released this week in regards to the redevelopment of
the aquatic centre,
Road and the aquatic centre. Yep, the aquatic centre.
It got everyone's hopes up because is that actually what the Cobbold's going to look like?
No,
or have they just done an artist's impression? I don't know. All I saw was a load of people on treadmills.
Well, perhaps it's a new initiative. You can watch Ipswich and keep your cholesterol and blood pressure down while they try and raise it for you.
You know what Martin was thinking? Where the hell am I going to park on match days?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
is going to be that.
There's a new multi-story going in, isn't there? There's going to be a multi-story
where?
car park.
Is it the same amount of spaces?
I don't know.
Not the council.
Early
Like, they're going
days.
to say, "Oh, I'll get a bus in."
They ain't got planning permission yet, anyway, so it's still a while away.
Matt 80 said, "You know, Matt's annoyed when he goes off air for a cup of tea."
Actually, I've got a bone to pick with you, Lambert, because I watched the show back and like Saturday, and you went, "Oh, I'm so annoyed when we lose games. It's so gut-wrenching." You weren't annoyed when we lost to Maidstone. You weren't bothered. The national humiliation. Do you know what I mean?
No, because that was Maidstone, and it was an anomaly.
I wasn't that annoyed Saturday after the loss. Everyone else seems much more annoyed about it than me. I mean, was you all thinking we were going to do 11 games, 11 wins, whatever it was, 10 games, 10 wins?
Manner of defeat. I took Preston better than I took Cardiff.
Yeah,
because
Preston
the manner,
seemed like it was over at half time, didn't it?
Well, exactly. She had 45 minutes to process it, whereas you had 5 minutes clinging on. But what do you make of because obviously it's been lots of talk on social media, a lot as it always is, but of what was released this week, Rich. Yeah, I mean, for me, the cobble stand isn't going to look anything like that, but I've not got any inside information in regards to it. It might be the exact what we're going to have. But what are your thoughts in terms, of what
I'm not really that bothered, if I'm honest. I ain't really that bothered. I'm not that bothered. Anyway. I'm more concerned about what the cobble stand is going to look like. That's all I'm really worried about. Yeah, it'd be good redevelopment, but then you think about the parking, getting out of Portman Road at the minute's terrible.
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean, yeah, let's get rid of the car park, but then obviously build a multi-story. But it's going to be interesting.
You don't park in there anyway.
No, I don't. I don't park anywhere near the ground now.
Yeah, because you can walk in. You're very fortunate. Someone like me can't, you see. But
they'll surely have that kind of provision in place, surely.
Yeah, by sticking a big aquatic centre on it. So Saturday afternoon swimming galas are going to be absolutely ramped, and then there's Portman Road, 30,000 people trying to cram in to watch us play Man United.
Football.
But no, the cobble stand rendering itself. Obviously, we don't know in regards what that is, if any significance to what Ashton and co want to do. But the design, I've seen various comments from I like it, I don't like it. Let's just go in the world. Let's live in the world for a minute. That is a rough estimate of what it could look like. Were you fans of that design? Would that design appeal to either of you as a stand?
I thought it looked all right, Rich. But I mean,
where was Bobby Robson's statue? You couldn't see that. Will that be moved?
Oh, good point.
That's a great point.
Do you move it round to the Bobby Robson stand? I mean, it make more sense, wouldn't it?
And then move Sir Alf down to the Sir Alf.
Yeah, you have to start moving stuff. Redeveloping the
I mean, where's the beat in that
Where
regard?
Does the beat go? Beat can stay there, can't it? Can he not? He's sort of just to the side a little bit.
Wasn't it all tarmac though? Like, wasn't it just like? And they're gonna. It didn't look. Yeah, good point. I didn't even think about it. Everyone got excited about the cobble stand being blue and curved and sweeping around. And...
I wouldn't put any great. What do you call it? I wouldn't put anything into the fact that the council have been speaking to the club about how that stand looks like in that video.
No, I agree. But people are like they see something and, and you get excited. Of course you do. It's your football club and
raises hopes. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean the club haven't obviously said anything in regards to about it. They haven't said whether it is or isn't, and I don't expect them to. But
they've done it round the wrong way, haven't they? They should have done the cobalt stand, or not had the cobalt stand in there at all, and just done the aquatic centre.
I think it suits the club, doesn't it? Because if the aquatic centre is done and there's no longer a road running alongside, that road is now no longer there, well, then surely you've got more of a footprint in which you can build a more impressive stand. Because currently the road is it stops what could be. They've been teasing it
for a while, haven't they? They've been teasing it for a while.
That's going to be like as you walk down from the town, isn't it? That'll be like
down
like
from the station
or something, or
it'd
be great in 10 years' time. What will it look like, Portman Road, compared to now?
I mean, Trevor's a positive soul this evening. He goes, council will probably go bust before it happens. I mean, that's Trevor's coming in with the positivity there, Trev. Love the positivity of it all. Talking of top two or bust, obviously Phil Blundell, who appears every so often, is a big supporter of the top two or bust. Top two took a hit at the weekend. We need to get it back on track this Saturday. How are we feeling headed into it? I mean, all right. Wait, I thought you said shampoo for a minute.
What is this?
Ivan Cruz Campo. Remember Ivan Campo? Still love that guy.
Yes. Yeah. I thought it said shampoo for me. I was thinking
drinking again.
Shampoo.
Drinking on a school night.
Oh, yeah, why not?
This boy's got a problem, hasn't he?
In joke, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to top two or
Look at
bust.
you on the water, or so it appears.
I've got to be very careful after anybody who watched on Sunday when I was briefly just coming to the show and proceeded to knock my apple juice.
You had a mare on Sunday. You were late.
Well, hang on. It wasn't my fault because we were late because the missus had put the washing on.
You can't take charge of that.
Well, no, I've been at work. I've been grafting in the morning.
Busy man. It's been grafting.
And then I come home, but I did have because I was a bit late, Matt. I did have a chance to eat a nice roast dinner, shoulder of lamb.
Oh,
yeah, very nice. We had that in the pub as well.
Ram that down me. What did you have? You had lamb? Did you?
I was going to go with lamb, but nearly everyone around our table went for lamb, so I went for beef because I didn't want to have the same as everyone else.
You're one of those, aren't you?
It was nice.
Well, you wanted lamb. If you wanted lamb, you'd eat lamb, wouldn't you?
What I really wanted was poultry, turkey or chicken, but it wasn't on the menu at all. So it was either lamb. I wasn't going pork, so I went with the beef.
Do you not like pork?
Well, no.
I
don't mind it.
Morning kitchen live.
Crackling, bit of proper.
Yeah,
do you like crackling, Gov?
I don't mind.
I love crackling.
Oh yeah.
Give me crackling all day long. Any sort of fatty thing I love, to be fair. Skin. Yeah. Well, yeah. Just
you
fat.
Don't want to eat too. You don't want to eat too much. You need to look after your health, don't you?
I do now, yeah. I'm paying for it now, yeah, absolutely.
You have to go and see Freddie.
I have to go. Well, we might just knock it out of the park in the first 10 minutes, boys and girls.
Yorkshire puddings, big fan.
Yeah,
no, I can't stand.
I like Yorkshire.
You see that Yorkshire puddings have become Marmite. We had people in our family going, "Oh, I don't want me Yorkshire,"
because they've grown offensive. Like they've gone from these little 10p, 20p, 50p size things to
they were never that size.
Domes. Like having the Millennium Stadium on your plate, right? It's like, what is this absolute monstrosity? It's too much batter. Too much. If I wanted toad in the hole, I'd order toad in the hole. I don't. So
I bought a toad in the hole for years. I used to love that one.
Tesco do a great 95p Tesco value ready meal range.
I don't think I'll be having that.
It's all right, actually. I mean, there's 4 little sausages, to be fair. But anyway, we digress. Yeah, go see Freddie, Stone-Market Osteopath. 7449-613-633 for all your osteopath needs, physiotherapy, all of that business. Freddie would look after. He's the governor there. They are quite busy, though. So, yeah, give him a call. Tell him the governor sent you, and I'm sure he'll sort you out. 01449-613-633. They're busy, boys, because they're good. They're good at what they do. Just like
rocks up. Fans Abbey rocks up yet?
Well, do you think he plays Saturday? That's a good question. Do you think?
We're going to our teams later, won't we?
We will. But I'm just interested. I mean, Rob's here now, so I could bring Rob in if you like. Get a bit of sensibility, normality.
He likes Yorkshire puddings. He must like Yorkshire puddings, being from Yorkshire.
Good. And gravy.
Let's get his view.
All right, let's get him in.
Gravy,
Rob joining us from Miss Radio Sheffield. Bob. Hello, Bob. Rob, rather. I did say
it.
All right, how you doing?
Not too bad. I mean, everyone likes Yorkshire puddings, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Rob
from Yorkshire.
No, Rob. No, I love the Wetherspoon Seahawks canvas behind you. I know you're a big Seahawks fan. Free agency started recently. You pumped for what Seahawks
well, I think pumped's probably the wrong word because it's not been that exciting. But yeah, look, it's an interesting time, isn't it? And it coincides with the end of the football season, so it's quite interesting all around, isn't it?
Absolutely is. And talking about interesting, obviously last time we had you on, it's a very different picture now at Wednesday than the one we had before. New manager, you've had a bounce and then some. You're no longer the team that's everyone's already written off. You're well and truly in the fight. Talk us through just what's happened at Wednesday, the transformation from your perspective inside, the club, so to speak.
Well, look, the manager's come in, Danny Röhl, and he's I don't really understand why he's there. This is a bloke who was coached at Bayern Munich and was with the German national team up until Hansi Flick losing the job there. And when he was linked with the job in the summer, right at the end, his name only emerged when Cisco had got the job, that it was essentially down to Cisco or Danny Röhl. And then everyone was kind of like, where's that name come from? No one had heard of him before, and it was quite interesting. Obviously, Cisco was a total and utter disaster, and it just didn't work in any way, shape, or form. And then Danny Röhl came in after all, and he's come in. He's probably the most popular manager that Sheffield Wednesday have had since Ron Atkinson in the early 90s. So that's just to speak to how much of an impact he's had. The fans love him. He's completely turned around the team. You know, they've now won as many games as Watford. You know, the problem that they've got is that they've just lost so many games. They never draw. So that's what's kept them down there. And they are a very different side. Now, you also have to accept that I think the manager's done an amazing job. Whether the team's good enough to actually pull off this great escape, I don't know. But they've given themselves a fighting chance with a few games to go.
So what could have been, really, had he been given the job in the summer, I guess, because he's done a tremendous job.
That gets mentioned a lot now. Is like, what would have happened if he'd have come in? And look, no one's suggesting for a second that Wednesday would have been a promotion contender or anything, but certainly they wouldn't have been in the bottom three. I don't think there'd be any danger of them going down either. I think there'd be a really decent chance of them just being a solid mid-table championship team, looking ahead with some optimism to the summer. Instead, there's just a lot of unknowns. Like there's protests at the home games. There was at the Leeds game against the chairman. You know, the chairman is very unpopular with an element of some of this fan base. The club has kind of got an unsure financial future, I would suggest, given that the chairman did an interview with one of the local papers not that long ago, suggesting that fans would have to chip in a couple of £100 each to stave off a tax bill that was owed, which had led to a transfer embargo. And then it was paid like the next day, which kind of made you wonder, what on earth was that all about? Like, why would you go and like put the fear of God in? People were actually ringing up the club and going, where do I pay my £200? So, you know, why go through all of that? So some people are very unhappy with stuff like that and ticket prices, obviously. But then on the offset of that, you've also got this incredibly, hugely popular manager. You will hear his name chanted at Pullman Road on Saturday from the away end. When Wednesday win, he does this big celebration with the fans. And I don't know if he'll be at Hillsborough next year because he's done such a good job. You would imagine that there's probably quite a few clubs that are sniffing around.
I was going to say, is this just a stepping stone for him, do you think, Rob?
I think I've absolutely no doubt whatsoever. And look, even if let's say he stayed at Sheffield Wednesday for another year and got them in the playoffs, then did like a Corber run at Huddersfield, let's say, you know, got them in the playoffs, whether they went up or not. It'd only be, I think it's only a short-term thing because he's the real deal. You know, he came in and Wednesday were on the floor and he brought in staff that had worked with Red Bull. He brought in Chris Powell, whose last job was I think it was with either England or Spurs. And Chris Powell, you know, why is Chris Powell here? Like he's here because Danny Rails managed to convince him to come. And you're sort of looking at that. He's built the staff, the style of play. You know, he's got a tactical intelligence that is. I know they lost the game against Leeds, but for the first half an hour, the tactics were spot on to play Leeds, and they just ran out of steam really because Leeds are, as you guys will know, are having a really good season, as yourselves are, and you know, one or two others up there. And Wednesday just couldn't handle Leeds. But for the first 30, 40 minutes, if they'd have gone ahead, who knows what would have happened. So he is going to end up, I think, managing at the highest level one day, which kind of brings you back. And I say this, you know, if there's any Wednesday fans who see this, I'm not trying to be, you know, a pain in the backside here or negative or anything. I'm just saying I do think that he is destined for the top. And I don't really understand why a coach with his pedigree has taken on a team at the bottom of the championship.
Yeah, it has been a transformation. And what can some fans sort of expect the new Wednesday that they perhaps haven't seen that much of, if at all, since the last time we played you? You know, what's the big difference in terms of style of play, and what will you bring to the party this time around?
Well, they press a lot better. Just the formation and the shape is just totally different now. You know, they're organised. They have, I'd suggest, match winners on the pitch. And whether that is sort of existing players who just up their game, or whether, you know, sort of Jan Perveda's come in from Leeds. It was kind of like a forgotten player at Leeds. And I was actually working at Look North when Leeds went up a few years ago, and like Bielsa was talking him up as like a young, you know, hot thing coming up at Leeds. It's never really worked out for him, has it? He's had a couple of loans and it hasn't worked. And then he's come to Hillsborough, and Danny Will just put an arm around him, and it's just suddenly Perveda. You can't take your eyes off him. Like, he is a very interesting. The ball sticks to his feet. He's got a trick up his sleeve, and he didn't play against Leeds because it was his parent club.
Cool,
but he will come back now. So there's players like that, like Gassama and Masaba have just upped. You know, these are players that were signed from Monaco and Paris Saint-Germain. And, they looked like they'd been playing for a couple of pub teams until Real came in. And now, he's transformed them into actually effective players. They found EK Ugbo, who was at Cardiff on loan, didn't do a thing, and has come to Sheffield Wednesday. And he's like something like 6 in 6 now, or 6 in 7.
So
they could have paid 10 million for a player, and he wouldn't have had the impact that EK Ugbo's had. So, and he's not a kind of player like you won't notice him until he's tapped one in from 5 yards. He's that kind of player, but they're worth the weight in gold. Bannon's playing a lot better at the minute. He's working ever so hard. Will Volks has been a revelation in the last few weeks. The problem is that defensively there are still a lot of question marks. I don't know if you guys saw the Leeds game, but just 2 long balls over the top, and you've got, I think it was Ruter and Bamford just like running through on goal, and they gave like 3 goals away against Huddersfield that way. And they have got this knack of just getting carved open sometimes a little bit too easily. So that'll certainly be something I imagine Ipswich try and capitalise on. But it'll be a much harder game on Saturday, famous last words, than it would have been if he'd have played Wednesday 6 months ago.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Rutz is like 20 million out of Hoffenheim, wherever it was. I mean, he's just like an anomaly in the Championship, isn't he?
Well, and look, it's been difficult. It's been interesting to see how Ipswich have succeeded this year, where obviously Sheffield Wednesday and to a lesser extent Plymouth haven't had that success. And when I saw Plymouth the other night, Wednesday beat them 1-0, but it was 1-0 going on 5, really. Plymouth looked awful. And the manager afterwards came out and said they deserved 2 penalties and they were really unlucky. And you're thinking, has he accidentally gone to Bramall Lane instead of something? Like, I don't know what he's seen there. But it just, they look really bad. And Wednesday at stages have looked really bad. And I think a lot of Wednesday fans have kind of looked at Ipswich with some envy, the infrastructure, the setup. Obviously, you've spent a bit more money than probably a lot more than Wednesday and Plymouth have to set yourselves up to have the season that you've had. But it is interesting how, the last time I went to Portman Road, Wednesday were 2-0 up in that game, and Michael Smith running through, and I thought your fans were ready to tear Portman Road apart if that had got it.
We were.
And I'm thinking, we were saying in the commentary, like, Jesus, this is really turned. And you're thinking at that time, when you got it back to 2-2, we were sort of saying on the long drive home, like, what would have happened if Ipswich had lost 3-0 today? Like, would the manager have gone or something? Because it kind of had that vibe to it. And it was almost like from that game onwards, you kind of turned from that to unbeatable. And then you sort of look back now and you could be in the Premier League. And it's funny, isn't it, how those sort of little moments in games, like, I just wonder if coming back from 2-0 down in that match, and if Michael Smith had scored that goal to get a 3-0, where would everybody be right now? Like, it's incredible to think.
Yeah,
but fair play to Ipswich for sort of making the most of that not being 3-0 and never looking back.
I think if you look at the table, Rob, I think now teams like Plymouth for me and Birmingham, I think they're banging trouble because their trajectory is in the wrong direction. Whereas Wednesday, other than I thought you played quite well against Leeds, and I think it's like it's fine margins, isn't it? I mean, another 10 seconds, you're going in at 0-0 at half time, and it's a totally different team talk. You've just switched off there, and Bamford's obviously scored, but obviously your season won't be defined by Saturday's result because you've got to play some of the teams down the bottom of the league, haven't you?
Yes, I mean, that's an interesting point, and a lot of people have said that. A lot of people looked at Leeds and Ipswich and thought, oh, well, anything's a bonus type of thing. But I kind of pushed back against that a little bit because the games are running out now. And you saw at the weekend, like, it wasn't the end of the world that Wednesday lost to Leeds. But then when Stoke won, you think, okay, well, they've now got 3 points further away. And then it helped that, I don't know what Huddersfield were doing against West Brom. Like, they were 1-0 up and coasting, and then decided they were going to lose 4-1. I don't know if they got to create a beer out at half time or something or what, or maybe it was something stronger. But they came out at half time and it was 4-1 and it finished. It helped that Birmingham lost to Middlesbrough. But if Wednesday go and lose on Saturday, and those teams around them get results, and they've had a knack of getting results, all of a sudden it's like 8 games left, and Wednesday is suddenly having or the thing that Wednesday have done well in the last few weeks is the games they've had to win, they've won. So Rotherham, Millwall, Plymouth, Birmingham, those types of games. But then they play a good team, and they just haven't got, they just can't get near them. They were swatted away by Leicester. Leeds in the end won quite comfortably. They lost 4-0 at Southampton and didn't really put up a fight. So, is that going to happen again this weekend? Whereas you look at, let's say, Millwall went and where did they win? At Southampton, and QPR won at Leicester, and Huddersfield got a point against Leeds with 10 men for most of the game. That Wednesday have not been able to do that. So that's sort of the big question: is can Wednesday give Ipswich a game on Saturday, try and get something from it? Even a point would be invaluable, so that there's not that much pressure when they're playing like the Swansea's coming up and teams like that. They're not sort of desperate, because look, Huddersfield are playing Rotherham this weekend, and you would imagine that's going to be 3 points for Huddersfield. So they've got to try and stay in touch.
I'm still trying to work out how that goal you scored against Rotherham was offside.
Yeah, well, the press box is quite... I can only imagine that the assistant referee must have thought that player was in some way interfering that was beyond the line. But there was such a gap between the guy who headed it and the other defender, Hekwa, that you kind of think, what's going on there? And look, to be honest, there was a goal against Plymouth a few days later where the ball was played square and Poveda scored the goal, and he was actually behind the person passing it across, and he got flagged for offside as well. I mean, I think the state of ref, I don't know what Ipswich's experiences this season. I mean, you might have, but I think the refereeing has been absolutely appalling in the Football League. And I think English refereeing is probably the worst state it's been. It's not just that everyone focuses on VAR in the Premier League, don't they? When you actually get down to it, there's 92 clubs, and the standard in the EFL is so terrifyingly awful. Like there's just, and it matters. So just from Wednesday's point of view, like they played Bristol City in one of Danny Rill's first games. Bannon gets sent off for 20 minutes into the game, completely changes the game. And then 2 days later, they just go, that's been rescinded. And you think, well, that's 70 minutes where they had to play with the 10 men for a bad decision. You know what? Get the decision right. And then they lost that game. If they'd have won that game, stick 3 points on. Now they're not in the bottom three. So it's, those things matter. And I suspect it'd be the same at the top as well, at the top two.
We had that away at Preston, didn't we, boys? Where
the
two decisions.
Officials,
Ref apologised
after the game. Yeah. And that point, it could be a point that we're closer to Leeds, or those 3 points could be the difference come end of the season. And I think you're right. And if it's the pipeline, if you like, refereeing through the EFL is the pipeline to the big leagues. It's not a surprise for me to see that all leagues are suffering, because if this is the pipeline, the quality is not coming through at the moment in referees.
It seems a little bit what happens is a ref gets famous, then decides that they're going to start freelancing and taking big money jobs. There was something like, wasn't there like a couple of Premier League refs who buzzed over to Saudi Arabia or something, or Qatar or something, to ref a game, and then they were working like at Anfield at the weekend, like a couple of days later. So they get a sort of sense of credibility, celebrity, and then they're wanted, and then they sort of get their heads turned by the money. Then they might retire, and you can just well imagine one of the big name refs retiring soon and being sat next to Neville and Carragher, couldn't you? And then all that happens is everybody gets bumped up one. So
maybe not Carragher. Maybe not Carragher.
Yeah.
Maybe not. But then if you go down the leagues and everybody gets bumped up, don't they? So like everybody jumps up a spot, and that ref who's not ready to referee Ipswich Leeds or whatever is suddenly like at Ellen Road, like with 30, 40,000 fans screaming their heads off, and he's like, well, good luck with that, mate. And that, I don't know, the whole setup. I would have thought that you always kind of looked at other countries and thought, our refereeing's better than theirs, and now we're as bad as anybody's. Really, it's quite shameful, and they need to get a grip with it, because football's too important these days for them not to.
I agree. Go on, Matt.
I was going to say, what's Rule going to do on Saturday then, Rob? I mean, is he going to look? Ipswich have shown that, like Rotherham, they come to Pullman Road. Yeah, they was one up within 90 seconds.
I want to ask you guys what happened in that game. How did you nearly not win that game?
Yeah, I know.
We start slow, very slow.
Slow. I'm just wondering what he's going to do. Is he going to look to soak up pressure? Look, we lost to Maidstone in the cup. Only had 2 shots on goal, scored 2 goals. Is he going to look at a set piece threat? Look, Cardiff beat us in the 90th minute with balls into the box. I'm just interested to see what you think his game plan is going to be, given that we'll probably try and get on the front foot, 30,000 in the stadium. They'll try and suck a goal inside the first 10, 15 minutes.
Well, again, don't come after me if this proves to be sort of tempting fate for you guys. But Wednesday's corners and set pieces have been awful all season. And we've actually had fans saying, ask the manager about why the corners are so bad. So that, that's sort of like a big topic amongst Wednesday fans at the moment. So I would suggest you've got nothing to worry about there. But,
I've just been on with James. I've just been on with James from the Wednesday pod, Robin. We talked about that. And we talked about the corners. And he said, you're awful. None of your centre-halves have scored from a corner. And I said, well, it's nailed on. First corner you get within about the first 5 minutes, you will be 1-0 up.
The thing is I bet every team they've played for the last 10 games has said the same thing, and the corners have continued to be awful. So you might be okay. Listen, it's what are they going to do? I don't think Danny Röhl has it in him to sit back. Like when they played Leicester, they played a very attack-minded lineup, and we're like, no, we're going to try and win. And then they did the same in Huddersfield. Like they named a very attack-minded in a must-win game. When you thought, a draw wouldn't be not a must-win, but a must-not lose. Or a draw wouldn't be the worst result, and he went for it, and they got stuffed. So I don't think he's going to sit back. I think he will continue to play essentially a 3-4-3, which has been the formation that has worked well. The wing-backs love to push on and try and force opponents back. Leeds did a very good job of stopping that happening. So maybe that's something that Ipswich will have picked up on, because the wing-backs are so important. And then Poveda, and whether it's Gassama or Masaba, just sort of move around and get into different areas and they link up with Ugbo. So I think they'll go for it Wednesday. And, it'll be up to Ipswich as the home team, I suppose, to capitalise like other top teams have done, like Southampton did and Leicester did. And if they don't, Wednesday will try and get a goal. One thing that has been difficult for Wednesday is when they have been leading late in games by a goal, they do get very, very panicky. So if Wednesday found themselves in a position where they were drawing or winning in the last 15 minutes, you'd probably see the Alamo at the end. That tends to be what happens in their games.
I've got one last question for you, Rob. Just looking at the red side of Sheffield, if Ipswich get there, as all Ipswich fans want to see us back in the Premier League, right? Which is what Sheffield United done last season. I think they got something like 90 points. It's had a really good season behind Burnley. But this season's just been down the toilet for them. And how are their fans dealing with the fact that they were so successful in the Championship to the leveler that is the Premier League? And look, me and Rich were discussing this on the phone the other day. They've been shipping 5, 6, 7 at Bramall Lane, haven't they?
Well, they've been shipping 5, 6 in the first half at Bramall Lane. And then, you've kind of been wondering, is this going to be 10-0? And the other teams kind of just have the second half off. So, listen, I mean, you guys probably don't want to hear it. I mean, what I would suggest is just enjoy the ride. Because what Sheffield United have found, and I suspect if you spoke to Burnley and Luton fan, I mean, look, Luton, fair play to them, they're giving it a go.
3-0 up at Bournemouth.
Just saw that.
By the way.
Yeah. Well, they're giving it a go. But but certainly United and Burnley, and the journey, the thrill of the chase is better than sort of being married for 20 years, maybe. And that's what they've kind of found, is that you get up there, and like Burnley have spent like £100 million, and they've got as bad a record as Sheffield United. They're on the same number of points. Sheffield United didn't help their cause. I mean, look, if Ipswich go up and you sell your best 2 players the week before the season and start essentially a youth team against Crystal Palace in the first weekend, then good luck. I suspect that Ipswich won't do that. And Ipswich it just seemed to me like if Ipswich go up, you have got sort of everything in place to make a fist of it in a way that maybe the others haven't. And that perhaps you shouldn't be going up to spend, 100 million yourselves. You should just be trying to make a couple of really, intelligent additions and building gradually and sort of doing it that way. But it's so hard. It's just so hard. Look at Forest. They've had to spend so much to stay up, and they're getting like financial penalties now. It's such a difficult league. You've just got the haves and the have-nots. And Ipswich just have to go into it, and you've got to study your Brentfords and your Brightons and teams like that. How have they managed to just become mainstays in the Premier League, Brentford are never going to, every now and again they'll have a good season, won't they? They'll finish in the top 10, but they're generally going to be 10th to 16th. How do you become that? And throw in the odd cup run, get to a League Cup final or an FA Cup semi, and then you never know what happens. That's kind of got to be Ipswich's aim. But if we all knew how to do that, we'd probably have a job at Ipswich, wouldn't we? We'd all be employed and paid 150 grand a year to show them how to do it. Yeah. It's so difficult, and it's been miserable for Sheffield United. They've gone from FA Cup semi-final, playing City at Wembley, and promotion at a canter a year ago to just having a living nightmare. So
it's so Burnley.
So
look at the stock of company.
Exactly.
Everyone was talking about him being Man City manager. And we said, "Oh, yeah, he wouldn't get a job sweeping out their dressing room now." That's how.
But that's the thing. No one seems to challenge him because he's Vincent Kompany. I think maybe that's the thing. Certain managers like Sheffield United, Wilder certainly gets a lot more.
Well, he said, didn't he? In that he came out in that interview the other day, Robin. He said that basically, didn't he? Like he said that Luton, everyone's bigging them up like they're going for Europe, and Kompany's had a bit of a free ride, whereas Wilder's getting it in the air, isn't he?
It is, and I do feel because I don't like we talked about it when United lost to Arsenal. I mean, I've never seen 20 minutes like that before. Like it looked like a pro team were playing a pub team, like and 20 minutes in it were 4-0. And I'm just thinking, I've got no idea what could they have done here. And then the fans are ringing up the next night, going, "What was that? Rubbish." And you're thinking, well, yeah, but what could you have done? And somebody said, "Well, we get man-to-man mark Saka." And it's like, well, good luck with that. You're going to put Austin Trusty on Saka, are you? Like, he's going to turn him. Like, you have to stand off him to sort of monitor him. If you get too close, touch tight, he's going to turn you. So like, what do you do? Like, how on earth do you stop teams like that? So my message would be, guys, is if you're up there next year, good luck. But just enjoy it, and if you can stop Leeds going up, we'll all have a good laugh at that. So.
Well, we'll be right there with you, Rob. Absolutely would be. Matt, can I ask for a score prediction before I let you go?
Oh, bloody hell! I don't know. Wednesday fans watching, are there?
Well, it might well be. Go for it.
Listen, you can't. I find at times like this, you've just got to be honest about it. And Ipswich are where they are for a reason. So I think Ipswich will win the game. I'll go for the same score as Leicester. So I'll say Wednesday put up a spirited fight, come out of it feeling not too demoralised, but 2-0.
Okay, perfect. Rob, thank you so much for joining us twice this year, and hopefully we don't have to invite you back for next season.
Just quickly, what was the truth in the Marvin Johnson links back in the window to town?
Good question.
Well, I think that there was. It's a situation that the chairman does not like to sell players, and is perhaps unrealistic in his asking price for certain players, and I think that was another situation like that. Whereas Ipswich will have. I think initially there was no chance for that what Ipswich were trying to get him for, but even if it had got to a point where Ipswich were deadly serious and were, the chairman would have just asked for. I mean, like there's a player, Lee Gregory, at the minute in the squad who is not even registered in the 25, and teams were trying to sign him before the end of the deadline, and they were being quoted huge loan fees, promotion fees that were just unrealistic. So he doesn't go and play for somebody else. He's just sat in the stands or at home watching now. Like he's not even they can't even put him on the bench because he's not in the 25-man squad. So Wednesday have just taken on that wasted cost in salary for no reason. This is weeks after the chairman was suggesting the fans might have to pay a tax bill. This is why some fans are protesting. And the same with Marvin. Look, Marvin Johnson is critical to Sheffield Wednesday. So it's really different. I mean, he is just such an important player. So it was going to take something to get him out of Hillsborough. But even if Ipswich had have offered what the four of us consider a fair deal, it would have been, double it.
Yeah.
So, interesting Saturday as well. He'll come up against Wes Burns. Obviously, they had a little bit of a...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Last season.
So they did. Yes, that was interesting. That, I mean, look, it was a good game last time. I hope it's, you know, I know that everybody wants different outcomes here, but if it could be an entertaining game, so it's a bloody long drive to Ipswich. So if it could be an entertaining game at least, that'd be fun.
I think it will be. I think it will be. Rob, thanks you so much for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season. Just not on Saturday. All the
Cheers,
best,
guys. All the
Cheers,
best.
Rob.
Rob.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Big appreciation to Rob Dev joining us. Always good to hear from
man.
Rob, who knows his stuff and really in depth with it as well.
Really good, really good.
Just on the Johnson links there, you know, interesting to get that perspective. Good question there, Rich. I'd forgotten we were even linked with him.
I think there's Lee Gregory and what's the guy that got on loan from Newcastle, Matt?
Hendricks.
I think he's another one that he's not in the 25.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
You know, so
Did Johnson get like a red card after the game? Then they reviewed.
Yeah, he
it.
got 3-game ban, didn't he?
3 games, wasn't it? Yeah.
Wes will get some sticks Saturday from their fans, 100%.
I'm sure he will.
Streaky says, being in a league that realistic we can never win, European competition, maybe the promised land, I'm not so sure. It's the money. It's what you're all there for. It's what you're all there for. Let's be honest. It's the money.
We're not that far removed from Leicester winning the Premier League. So I mean, you know, you never know. But Rob was right. You got your Brentfords, Brightons, Wolves. There's a blueprint there for at least trying to stay in the division, and then, like he said, try and get on a cup run, or like win a league cup, or try and get into the what's it called?
Bournemouth, another team, Matt. I know they're losing tonight, but Bournemouth, another team.
Bournemouth is another one. Yeah, bloody hell, they only had 3 sides a decade ago.
Little old Bournemouth, Martin.
It's a fairy tale.
Fuck.
A fairy tale.
Yeah.
From rags to riches.
Spend any money, did you?
Like, no, nothing, mate. Not a single penny was spent.
Like Brighton can get to, what is it, UEFA Conference League or whatever it's called. I'm pretty certain Ipswich can. There's a blueprint of success there.
They didn't have a ground, Matt. They didn't have a ground.
Withdean. Do you remember the Withdean?
Yeah, I went there. Absolutely shithole.
I think it's prestige, though, isn't it? It's prestige of being at the top table with the top teams and seeing Monday Night Football at Pullman Road, seeing Carragher and Neville talk about your football side, being linked with the better players, being a team that's relevant, because whether we like it or not, the Premier League is where, for the majority of people, football begins and ends.
Whether
you like that or not.
Globally, it's a global brand, isn't it? And you want to be, there's only 20 slots, and you want to be part of it. But it's interesting what he said about Luton there, because we've discussed this before, haven't we? They brought in Townsend, they brought in Barkley, but they've pretty much given it a crack with the players that got them through League One into the Championship and into the Premier League. And
I think if they win tonight, Matt, I think they go level with Forest. Yeah, look at the money, like Rob was saying. Look at the money that Forest have spent.
Yeah,
just to literally stay afloat. Like last season, I think spent over 100 million, and they might get a points penalty coming. So you just got. Look, if we do get there, like Rob said, just enjoy it. Let's hope that I think we'll give it a good go. We wouldn't be a Sheffield United or a Burnley. I'd very much doubt it would be in there. It'd
be very interesting to see how Game Changer and Ashton and McKenna would approach that, because we're obviously going to lose more. See, that's something McKenna's not had. We keep saying he's not even lost back-to-back league games. It'd be interesting to see how he would cope in that environment. But look, that's the growth of a coach, isn't it? And how your club transitions into becoming a Premier League one. Hope, fingers crossed, we can do it.
13 games, Matt. That's all he's lost. League games.
Unbelievable. Well, I think we've got as many points as what Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth have put together. The promoted teams, 78, 79, something along those lines.
Did you see the stat today, Martin? That no team has ever failed to get promoted with 90+ points. I mean, only Ipswich.
Oh, this is just
if you look at, I was talking when I was on with James, Matt. If you look at both ends of the table, you're going to have probably 4 teams over 90 points, and you're probably nearly going to have to hit nearly probably 47, 48, maybe even 50 points to stay up.
They've had a season like that before, haven't they? They've had a season like that before. We had to have a record total.
I think Peterborough. Do you remember when Peterborough went down when they were in the Championship? They got something like 52 or
50 something, wasn't it? You're right.
Still went down. So this is why the Championship, Martin, it's such a good league, because there's not many teams. If you look at that league table, with 9 games to go, probably Sunderland, maybe Watford, Bristol City. They've not really got a lot to play for, have they?
No. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Watford on a new manager, Tom Cleverley, has been installed there.
Unbelievable.
I'm always, when I hear the name Tom Cleverley, I'm always reminded of the Andy Tate thing that went famous. Where I tweeted him for that. Nothing rude. tweeted him, and then he goes into it about Fellaini, and if you've not seen it, it's very old now, but it's well worth a watch. It always raises a smile with me.
Why
anyway.
do they think Tom Cleverley's going to do any better than Valerian Ismail, for crying out loud? What's the logic there?
He's just temporary till the end of the season. Maybe it gives them a little bit of a boost, but they might as well stuck with the manager till the end of the season and then change it then. But
this is what we're not surprised with.
Gov wanted to be like Watford one time. Do you remember when we were doing the pod? He wouldn't mind being like Watford.
I mean, imagine the content on the show. We'd be changing manager every other month.
Certainly would be, but that was when we were a League One side finishing 9th, and Watford were flirting in and out of the Premier League, and they're not. This is their last year of parachute payments, the same as Norwich.
Ooh.
I mean, it shows you just how recently they've been inside the Premier League. We laugh because we're sitting third and they're in wherever the hell they're in. I've not looked past third all season, but they were in the Premier League recently, and they're we can learn from them as well as Brentford and Brighton. How not to do it when you're there and how to do it when you're there. You've always got to have a good and the bad. But we've got to get there first. And last weekend, obviously, we coughed and we spluttered and we stuttered and we tripped as we approached the finishing line. Got to get back to winning ways. Somebody in the chat says, James Wynelma, it's now must-win time. You said 100%. That as well, Rich, on Sunday's show. It's got to be a must-win, right, Matt? This is it now. 9 cup finals. And I know it's the cliche, but they're all going to be must-wins.
Yeah. I think when you're playing a team that's in the relegation zone and has been there all season, and you've got aspirations for promotion, then you've got to be beating these sides at home. And I'd fully expect Ipswich to bounce back on Saturday and to do so. I actually thought, I know you thought it was a bit of a flat performance Saturday, Martin, but I kind of agreed with McKenna a little bit. I thought it was quite a good away performance. It was nip and tuck, and you saw the quality of Kiefer Moore, 6 in 9 now. I mean, he didn't need much of a sniff at goal to score that, did he? I mean, it was something out of nothing, and it was nearly enough to take us over the line. The fact we just couldn't clear 2 balls out of the box was frustrating and killed us in the end. But that's the fine lines. It's the fine margins, isn't it? The marginal gains, 1-2%. You don't clear the ball twice, and they end up winning the game 2-1. But look, I wasn't too down because I don't think we've lost 5 games all bloody season. I mean, Jesus Christ, these are the best. We're the 3rd best side outside of the Premier League in the country. So these moments have been few and far between. It's just, like you said earlier, the manner of the defeat is, you'd rather be 3-0 down at half time than be 1-up in the 90th minute and lose 2-1. And I totally get that. But look, that's happened to the great and the good in world football. I said it on Saturday, football, bloody hell. United beat Bayern Munich, one of the greatest club sides ever, in exactly the same fashion in a European Cup final, even worse scenario for them. So it does happen. But look, the players would have been hurting about that. I feel sorry for all the fans that made such an effort to get to Wales for lunchtime kickoff and supported us in great numbers. And the players had put in a great shift. I mean, it's very difficult to try and break down the blue wall. We said Saturday with our style of play when you're just trying to contain them. But look, we lost the game in the end. I imagine we're probably going to lose another game between now and the end of the season. Let's not be too unrealistic about things. I think we probably will. But I think other teams will around us as well. I don't expect Leeds to go. Rich always says Leeds are on a bit of a tear at Ellen Road, and I agree with that. They may come unstuck away from home, but I don't think it's going to be plain sailing for anybody between now and the end of the season. I think it's going to be, as you get closer to the finishing line, I think it's going to be, rocky waters.
Yeah, Charlie says here, Rich, I still think our defence will cost us top 2 in the end, despite our amazing season. Stephen, it would hurt to get the players playing either a Hull or a West Brom and finishing 18 or 20 points ahead of them. Won't happen. It'd be crazy, though. I mean, it could happen, Stephen. That's the lottery of the playoffs. But Matt thinks we'll probably lose a couple, one or two between now and the end of the season. You probably feel the same, but it's that territory now, isn't it, where you can't slip up.
Yeah, well, Saturday's defeat, it gives you even less margin for error, doesn't it now?
Yep.
And it was, like you said on Sunday, Gov, if they'd have scored in like the 60th minute or something, look, you'd have lost the game, you'd have been disappointed. It was like you say, Matt, it's the manner of defeat. But this team has not let us down when we've suffered a defeat before, because we're always good at bouncing back. We never lost back-to-back under McKenna in the league, still. And you think that's amazing when he's been here, nearly getting on for 2.5 seasons.
Phenomenal.
So, big game Saturday, how you react. yeah, look, they need the points Wednesday. That everyone needs the points now at this stage of the season. And I think we said before, we spoke about the defence before. 49 goals conceded. You're probably going to concede nearly 60 goals, I'd have thought. If you're shipping goals the way we are throughout the season, that's not great when you're looking to get promoted, is it? Because not all the time, you can't be scoring 3 goals to win a game all the time.
It's pressure, isn't it? It's pressure on the front line, Rich.
Yeah, but for me, that's a summer reset for defence.
Well, it is now, yeah, definitely.
Look, I know people say you could bring in Axel. I see a bit of chat online about you could bring Fridge in, but I still think defensively you stick with Wolfen and you stick with Burgess. You've come this far with them. You're not going to rip it up. Obviously, the goalkeeper. Certain people said you could change him, which they're not going to do. Look, we've come this far with these players, and they're doing their best, and they've had such a fantastic season. But it is such a game of small margins, isn't it? We could have been sitting here tonight talking about you beat Wednesday, and we could have gone top of the league. Because Leicester are not playing. Leicester are not playing anyway, but we can still ramp up a bit more pressure on Leeds, because Leeds are not playing until Sunday. They play Millwall on the telly. Leicester are not going to play. The game in hand is going to be Southampton. So it's vital Saturday that we've got to win this game. James in the chat there, must win. They're all must-win games now. No one's going to win every game, are they, Matt?
No, exactly.
It's not going to work out, but there's tough games to come away from home, but pressure does strange things, doesn't it, to teams? Yeah. So we've got to keep ourselves, like we said on Sunday, Gov, keep ourselves within that 1-game margin. If it goes over 3 points with the goal difference as well, with the games left and they're running out quick, you don't want to make it so you're going to have to make up 2 games, because you're probably going to run out of games. So if you can keep it 1 to 2 points, who knows what might happen?
Yeah, absolutely. And are you entering the part of the season, Matt? As Rich has just sort of highlighted there, the social media chatter, the online chatter in regards to, do you bring so-and-so in? Do you take so-and-so out, etc.? But are you entering the point of the season where your tinkering's got to stop now? It's about your settled best 11 that you've established over the last 30, however many games there's been, 38 games, etc. And you go with that, and the tinkering now has got to
100%. I never understand the logic of that. Like, you've lost 2-1 to Cardiff, having been 1 up in the 90th minute. And everyone goes, "Oh, I'm going to bring Transabian. Perhaps we should change the keeper. Perhaps we should bring so-and-so in." Like, they're expecting perfection from these replacements. Oh, should we bring Edmondson in? Well, Edmondson gave the bloody ball away against West Bromwich Albion and put them 2-1 up. So, don't expect this kind of... I've said it Saturday. I seem to think Ipswich fans expect this kind of total football for 90 minutes, regardless of who comes into the team. But if they don't get it, we'll get him out. Let's get Hladky gone and get Walton back in. I think it's bullshit. I just don't understand the logic in that at all. And you keep the nucleus of the side that has got you as the 3rd best club outside of the Premier League and English football, having been in the League One last season and surpassing all expectations. Have faith in those players. You keep saying to me, Kieran McKenna knows exactly what we need. So have faith in Kieran McKenna to do the job. I certainly don't think tinkering with players is going to make any difference whatsoever. Look, we said, I like Transabian. I think he's got great pedigree. Put him in against Leeds at Ellen Road is horseshit. Lost fucking 4-0.
That's what I said on Saturday.
Aidy Crash says the team picks itself now. Kelly says it's safe for Leicester, Southampton, Leeds, all teams under pressure, but we need to attack teams down the front for every single game. Streaky, they know what's required. We carry so much knowledge from last season. And Lee said we must win this. We need to win 7 out of these 9 games, says Lee. Rob made a great point in regards to how Wednesday started against Leeds, Rich. First 30 minutes, tactically got it spot on. And had they got a goal, who knows how that game could have turned out, I think were Rob's words. Well, he's playing Town this weekend, and Town are notoriously good at giving teams early goals. So he could well see that play out.
We haven't lately, have we?
No, they've stopped that plug. They've plugged that up.
Was Rotherham the last game, wasn't it?
Yes. Well, you say not lately. It's still the same calendar month.
Well,
it's like,
we've got at least 3 games without conceding in the first.
Yeah, at least 3.
That's a win. We're improving. Don't worry.
It's a win. Yeah, it is a win.
Yeah. I think this stage of the season as well, because they're pressure games, aren't they? And you need the first goal. I think. Yeah. I think it's vital Saturday. I liked it when Rob said, Matt, that he thinks Wednesday will come and attack. which I think will probably suit us, because you see the teams in the low block when they come and do that. When we struggled Saturday to break Cardiff down. They made it difficult, and it was just a flash of brilliance from Kofi, wasn't it? Out of nothing, he scored a goal.
So good.
I'm always confident. Yeah. I'm always confident at Portman Road. If a team comes, I've said it before on here, and I'll say it again. If a team comes to try and play Town at football, I think 9 times out of 10, we've got better players than them, and I think we will beat them, because they'll leave the spaces. You know, we can get in behind them, and we should be looking to beat Sheffield Wednesday. You know, Sheffield Wednesday are in the bottom 3 for a reason. I know they've done really, really well under Roll, and if he was there at the start of the season, they wouldn't be in that position, but they are. They're in that position for a reason, and we're in the position we are in for a reason. You know, we're sitting on 78 points with 40 points ahead of Sheffield Wednesday. You know, who would have thought that this stage last season when we're vying for promotion from League One, you know? So we should all go there confident on Saturday. Just be a little bit wary that you do get some strange results at this stage of the season, don't you? Like Millwall, Matt. Who in their right mind thought Millwall would go and beat Southampton after that dross performance they put in against us? They were absolutely terrible and nailed on for relegation. And I think they've won 3 games, and we hope they can do us a favour on Sunday. Yeah, they go to Leeds. You know, I think they'll make it difficult for Leeds, but do our own job first.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to look out. You've got to look out for yourself and what you can control with your own hands. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Sheffield Wednesday have done all right. The Leeds result aside, I think they'd won 4 on the trot, hadn't they, up until then? But they're not scoring lots of goals either. I think they've got 6 and 6, something along those lines. You need more than 1 goal to come to Portman Road and beat us, I think. I think the goal threat we've got and the fact we're so on the front foot the whole time should see us over the line. But look, you just never know. Like you say, who saw Millwall going to Southampton and getting 3 points? Nobody.
This is it. So the lineup for Cardiff, obviously, we'll start with the back 5. Just let me know if you're going to make any changes. So it's Ladke, Clark, Wolfie, Burgess, and Davis. Is that your back 5 for Saturday, boys?
Yeah, I'd keep it.
Yeah. Okay. Into midfield, it was Morsey and Massimo. Were your 2 holders on Saturday. Are you keeping those 2 in there? Are you making a change? If so, who is it coming in?
You could. I mean, look, we've debated this on WhatsApp this week, haven't we? You could see a change there. Do you give Taylor some minutes, Rich? You thought maybe Travis might come in?
I think.
What do you think?
I think he'll stick with Mass and.
You think so?
Morse. Yeah, I think he's had a week. We had no game in the week.
True.
You know, so if he's had a bit of illness, he's over that. Obviously, playing against his old club as well, he'll be chomping at the bit to play. He's been a bit off it, Gov, lately, Luongo. I think we all agree on that. Colin says Taylor. I wouldn't be against Jack Taylor playing.
No. Give him a go.
But in that 6 role, I don't think it suits him. And we've spoke about this before. You see him playing his best football when he came off the bench against Bristol City, wasn't it? You know, that's when we're throwing, like you said, Matt, the kitchen sink going forward. Great, but I think if there is a change, I think Travis will come in. I don't see Taylor starting. I think it'll be Travis in the 2, but I think he'll stick with his tried and trusted for this game.
It's the best combo. Morsey and Luongo is the best combo. I mean, look, it's been the combination in midfield that we've had for the majority of the season. But, you know, it ain't going to last, as we said before, mate, it ain't going to last forever, is it, Morsey and Luongo? They're in the downside of their career, you know. So, I mean, look, at some point you want to see Taylor get minutes from the start, maybe Saturday. Don't know. He certainly would give his 100%, but it feels like Morsey and Luongo is the best combination, absolutely.
I think whoever plays there needs to get in and around Barry Bannon, because I think all roads still lead through Bannon in terms of how Wednesday play. You need to have some energy around him and not let him have time on the ball to sort of dictate, because when he's given time,
that's Travis.
Because when he's given time, he's still a player who's very capable of picking you apart.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when he's not given the time, you can show the weaknesses in his game. Ahead of those 2 on Saturday were Burns, Chaplin, and Sarmiento. Who, where, how?
Broadhead in.
Broadhead back, I think. Most certainly that left-hand side of that attacking 3 seems to be the issue we've had. No one seems to have, ever since Broadhead had that injury, no one seems to have picked that up, the mantle up there a little bit. Sarmiento, better off the bench, as you said, Rich. Harness seems a bit anonymous when he starts there. Again, better off the bench. No one seems to have the impact on that side if Broadhead ain't playing. And that's probably a position to fill in the summer, I think. Someone who can actually have impact there. The other 2 are good from the bench. Don't quite seem to have the same level of impacts when starting, unfortunately.
No place for Amari in your team, Rich?
No, I don't. No, I think Wes will start on the right-hand side. So I think Amari's he just have to take his chances when he comes off the bench. I think like going into these final 9 games, I don't see many changes in your team. Maybe over Easter, Matt, when we go, obviously Blackburn, and then you've got Southampton on the Monday. That might freshen it up a little bit. But this is what got us where we went last season, Gov, by playing a settled lineup, knowing what they were doing. So I think that's what we'll do from now till the end of the season, and hope everybody stays fit. You see today, obviously Brody, Wes, and Kiefer Moore selected for Wales. You just got to keep your fingers crossed. Them going away, they come back with a clean bill of health. Because imagine Kiefer goes away and he gets an injury. I mean, he's a massive part in. 6 in 9, Matt. You know, massive signing.
Return. It's a phenomenal return. Like we said Saturday, Martin, the top scorer for Cardiff got 6 all season.
But I think I criticised him a little bit on Sunday. For me, these remaining 9 games, I want to see Colin Chaplin dictate games as a 10. I want to see him get on the ball, spray them passes about. Look, he's always going to be dangerous around that edge of the box there, you know, dropping to him. I think he's got, 12 goals, Matt? I think he's our top scorer, but not
different
so much at home.
It's different.
Not so much at home. Not much at home. I know what you're getting. When you go away from home, you know, when we go into these, you've got some big games, Norwich, Hull, Coventry, Blackburn. I want to see him stand up in them games and run the game. And I don't think he does. I'm not being overcritical. I don't think I'm being overcritical, but as a 10 away from home, I don't think he influences the game enough. And you probably look at the times he gets subbed. You know, he takes him off. I know Martin wouldn't take him off on Saturday. You said, didn't you? You'd keep him on. You keep him on the pitch. But look, must-win game Saturday. We've got to be coming out of Portman Road at 10 to 5 or whatever time. It's got to be 3 points. It has to be. If it's not 3 points, I think you're kissing second place goodbye. If I'm being totally honest.
Okay. Well, then that's the last question of the evening, gentlemen. We're just over 9 o'clock. Sorry, Matt, you're going to be missing Touch of Frost or whatever it is you had planned at 9 p.m. But it is a score
Baby Jason.
Great. It's probably one of his finer roles outside of Del Boy. Mike D is not a top of 10, more of a predator than a playmaker. And Colin Plum says, keeping more same impact as John O'Rourke back in 1968 promotion year. Gov.
Your word for it, Colin.
Peterborough and Barnes before promoted versus Exeter this season. Highland commentary. Then at home to Huddersfield. Good point.
Maybe we'll see. Maybe Gov on the road at an away game, like he turned up at Barnsley and Peterborough last season.
Yeah, well, when I turned up,
dumping his car. Where's your car? Over there somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, on my own, I was trying to find where my car was parked. Yeah, and that was that.
Have you spoke to that guy? He's got my ticket. I've just turned up. Yeah, don't worry, Gov.
So that is a story.
The bird coat was on. The bird coat was on underneath.
The bird room coat with all it. Yeah,
what a night that was, Barnsley away. We'll never forget that,
mate. I will never forget that. And, ditching the car because it was rammed traffic. So ditching the car outside some bloke's house. He said, "Don't worry, I'll watch it for you." He could have literally, done anything if he didn't. But
they're the things you remember, though, aren't they? Like you just at the drop of a hat, you went. You called me up, Matt. You're gonna have to host the final the game of the final show at full time. Yeah. It's just these little. Okay, I'll do it. I'm on my way to Yorkshire. We win 3-0. I mean, these are the moments you remember.
If we're going to get promoted, I think we're going to have to go to Norwich, Hull, and Coventry, and probably take 7 minimum out of them 3 away games.
Promotion, you need me there. It's proven.
Yeah,
I'm undefeated in promotion run-ins.
Get Gov to Carrow Road.
No.
Get him in hospitality next to Delia.
I've been shoved under that railway bridge. It's the bridge, isn't it? By more times than I ever cared to be shoved through there ever again. So no, I'll watch from the comfort of my living room. Thank you very much. Thanks for the offer, though. Score prediction, then, gentlemen, please.
Go on, man.
I agree with Rob. Actually, I think it's probably going to be 2. I think we can probably go for 3. They might score 2-1, 3-1. But I can't see anything more than an Ipswich win. I feel like this, as we've said previously, when we've had our backs to the walls and we've had disappointing results, McKenna and the players seem to bounce back, and I fully expect them to do that on Saturday. So I think, probably 2-3-1. 3-1, I'll go.
We don't need to be Sean's. Look at that. I was just about to say, I did say on here before the Bristol City game, wouldn't it be lovely to go down to Portman Road, have a nice chilled out 2-0 victory, and it's just keep your heart rate low. What we need to do, we're going this Saturday. Don't be nervous, because that nervous will come. I think if you've got that nervous energy, Matt, it'll come across to the players. We don't need that. We all need. We need to be really, really positive. Look, we've lost the game. We've lost 5 games. We're all disappointed, weren't we? Last Saturday.
Unbelievable record.
But you're gonna lose games of football. Like, it's the manner. Yeah, don't let that happen. Like I said on Sunday, Matt, use that as a positive. And next time you're in that position, see out the game. And Kieran might, if he had his time again, he might have kept, like you said, Gov. He might have kept Kiefer Moore on the pitch. You know,
never know. We'll never know.
Yeah, Saturday. I think it'll be a tough game. All about the first goal for me Saturday. If we get it, I think we'll go on and win. I think it'll be tight. I don't think Town ever do it easy. So I'll go 2-1 Town. We'll probably be looking at the clock when it's probably about 7 minutes of injury time. But we've showed we can see games out. If you look at the Bristol City game, I think it was 8 minutes injury time there. Yeah. And I don't think they hardly got into our penalty area. Whereas Saturday, we just sunk deeper and deeper, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, people shouldn't just dwell too much on that. Look, that has been few and far between in the entire McKenna helm as manager. I mean, look, it's just hopefully just a one-off, like you say. You know, we always just you're only as good as your last game, I suppose. But look at the Bristol City game, how the impact the players had off the bench. Sarmiento, the header on for Leif Davis's goal, how they saw out and held on to the 3-2. So we can do it. We can do it. And I think I would imagine if it's tight on Saturday, they'll see it out again. I've got no doubt about that at Paul Road.
Ancient Tractor Boy says 3-1 Town. Darren says 2-1 Town. And Sharon's echoing what we're all saying. I'm going to say here. Have a great afternoon on Saturday, Colin. Absolutely enjoy the Czech presentation.
Yeah, brilliant.
Well done once again. But thank you for watching Talking Town this evening. Hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget Match Bingo. Over 18s only. Be gamble aware. And Stowmarket Osteopaths. And 1449613633. But he has been Matthew Phillips. Has been Richard Moss just down below there. I've been the Gov. Go and check out the cricket show on 2.5 speed. Well, you won't need 2.5 speed because they were on. Did you watch it, Matt? Did you watch anything?
I was cooking.
What do you have tonight, by the way, quickly?
Hot noodle. Of course he did.
Sausages.
In his pants.
Hot noodle.
Sausages. Hang on, I remember that sausage pasta you had last time. You sent it.
That wasn't very good.
Oh my lord, that wasn't
very good. I've not done that since. I am going to go back.
I'm going to go back to it.
Yeah, I will go back. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, get the pictures on the
food, everybody.
Are interested. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you all after the game on Saturday. Where hopefully Town have 3 more points. See you then.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down low and now you're blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you.